Hello everyone. Can you guys hear me? I think we are live. So let's wait for the people to join. If you guys are here, ping me a hello on the chat. The stream will be started as soon as some people join. Okay, almost 21 people. Hello, hi. Hello guys. Okay, for some reason I think there is an echo. Do you guys hear an echo? Can you guys hear me right now? I think you can hear me right now, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think you're audible. The echo might be due to you having the stream open on a different tab. So you
Uh,
might be
I
listening to audios.
I think I have muted it. So I think it's fine. It's
Okay,
fine for me.
sure. Yeah, we are not getting any echo right now.
Yeah. So I think we can start. There's no problem from my side. So hello guys. We are from Team GNX. With me, I have Orishor Joda. He's a yeah yeah he is an old member of GNX, and what we are doing right now is going over the fundamentals of Vim and internship. Okay. Some of you are having fun in the chat. Okay, that's not a problem with us. So
Okay, guys. Nice to have a crowd here. And yeah, so we'll be starting soon. And so, hello to everyone. Please comment down any queries you have regarding the presentation and our moderators, and we'll be addressing those. Okay. Anonyo, let's start. Yes, Utkarsh, if you have signed up for the event and if you fill up the feedback form, everyone will be getting a certificate which will be valid for both MAR and other things.
Okay, so let's start. And first of all, you can hear me all right. Ping me a hello if you can hear me all right. Yeah, yeah, fine. So we are gonna start with what is Vim, and for that I'm gonna be giving you an example, like why should we use Vim, why should we not use VS Code and everything like that. So Vim is like the average programmer's text editor. It can be said that Vim is more like the uh, fast and furious text editor with which you can fly or edit text with the speed of light, or you can verify you get doubly.
So Vim is like the one who wants to get like that 1, 2, 3% extra score for editing faster. So it's for people who just want to walk that extra mile and put in that extra effort, and it makes all of your life totally easier, and it will perfectly make sense by the end of today's session.
Okay, so it takes a bit of time to gather or what is actually happening with Vim, but with time you can actually like easily compose text or motions with which you can efficiently like flow within the your thought process and actually get work done more efficiently than what you are actually doing right now with VS Code or Atom or any other text editors right now. So Vim actually, when you first open Vim, it would give you something like this, or if you are using vanilla Vim with nothing, if you are logging into a server, there is actually nothing other than a text, black background and white text over it. So with what our goal to
I think Ononiboto is having some issues regarding his mic setup. So meanwhile, while he debugs his issue, let's have some quick questions for the chat. First question: how many of you have some familiar with Linux and have used Linux before? And could you just mention your experience in the comments?
So sorry, I think some issue happened, but am I audible right now?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah, so
Perfectly
sorry
audible.
about that. Yeah,
Okay,
so
okay.
what we
Yeah.
can do right now, without much delay.
Yeah, someone just compared Turbo C and mentioned Turbo C here. Uh, okay, so Turbo C was like a Borland CID compiler. Uh, so Vim is a text editor. It's not a compiler. It's just an editor where you write your code, much
But
like
you can
VS Code.
actually extend the
Yeah, yeah,
functionality of Vim by embedding some commands that
yeah.
you can execute with key binding. So let's say for you
We'll
have
will come to that.
a
Yeah.
command embedded with F5. So every time you type F5, your program will be compiled and even run also. So
So
those are the things that can be
yeah,
done
yeah.
with NeoVim and Vim.
So I think Prabhisha has some nice experience with Linux. Uh, Glad that our session helped you. Yeah.
We are gonna be using NeoVim today. So NeoVim is little brother of
Uh,
Vim, who is much
yeah.
more talented
Just
than
a
Vim,
second.
but it has
Honorable,
known
could you just
whatever it has known from Vim itself. So a quick history lesson: Vim was actually conceived by Bram Mulener in the 1990s, who also contributes to Vim today. So about 2015, when VS Code actually hit the market, Vim was already lagging behind. So the community came together and started working on NeoVim. So NeoVim is the bigger and more featureful version of Vim, which has all the functionality of VS Code, like all the text suggestions, auto suggestions you get in Vim, sorry, VS Code, and all also embedded in NeoVim. So what you can do right now, go to this GitHub, NeoVim GitHub, and just download the Win64 zip if you are using Windows, or you can just use the app image if you are using macOS. For Linux, it's pretty easy. You are gonna just use your package manager to download and install. For Arch Linux, it is Pacman as NeoVim. For Debian, it's apt install NeoVim. So what we are gonna do right now is open NeoVim on our terminal and see how it looks like. So if you are using the
mm,
NeoVim for the first time, you are gonna see that it's pretty boring. I'm not gonna lie. You are gonna be greeted with an open source and freely distributable, like some boilerplate basic. And what you can do right now is enter enter something like this is pretty basic, like what you are gonna be expecting from a Linux server when you SSH into it. But what we are expecting from this is turning it into a full-blown ID like VS Code. So if I enter VS Code here, what I am getting right now is you can see all of these packages and all of these LSP things like that. By the way, LSP means language server protocol. So these are basically the auto suggestions or the code analysis that you are writing, what is writing is wrong or correct or everything. So we can extend the functionality of NeoVim by using LSPs. So what we can do right now, uh, so this is the boilerplate, or this is the stripped down version of NeoVim. So what we are gonna do is extend it by using some of the commands or some of the setups configuration. So we can get into the commands pressing colon. We can get to the command mode and type set and then anything. Like if I want to get numbers here, so I have already numbers here because I have configured it to my extent. So if I want to turn off the numbers, so I can just do. So this will toggle the numbers off. You can see the relative numbers are only there. So if I turn them off, I would have to do. So those numbers are already gone. So how every time we enter into the new Vim, we don't have to like type set number, set relative number, or things like that. So for that we use config files. For config files, we can just do neovim.config nvim then init.vim. So this file tells NeoVim to run the commands that should be run for customization and running of your workflow. So what we can do is enter it and say that I want my numbers to be on. So set numbers and set relative number. So with this, we can actually tell NeoVim that we want uh, numbers and relative numbers in our session. So my mistake, it should be in the home directory. So let me just show you here. This is my home directory. So if I go to .config, you are gonna see a bunch of folders, and these are called config files or dot files. So it should be in like new vim. So if I search for nvim, you are gonna see init.lua and lua files. So these are already configured in lua language. You can configure them in vim also. So what we can do is .config nvim init.vim, and then we can just turn up our editor, and it would show the same thing every time. So see, we have already gotten the one and twos, the relative line numbers and the numbers. So these are config files. I don't want to confuse you too much with what are these config files and all, but to install Lunar Vim, that is the configuration set or the framework we are going to be using. I just wanted you to give a brief like idea of what configuration files are. So you don't have to like worry about these too much, but it's okay if you have an idea already. So what we are going to do right now, we are going to be using Lunar Vim. So Lunar Vim is all those configurations that I was typing made pre-built for you, so you don't have to write those by hand. So this is an IDE layer, like it can transform NeoVim into VS Code for you, if you will. So what we can do, it looks basically like this, like VS Code and split and all, but better, I would say. All of these links I will give it to you after the end of the session. So let's install it. And for installation in Linux and Mac OS, we are just gonna have to copy and run this in the terminal. For Windows, however, if you have PowerShell, we can just invoke this command. So these both of these commands are available in the LunarVim repo and the website. I am gonna be sharing these links afterwards, so you don't have to worry about them. And after installation, it is gonna take a while because it will run everything like Rust, Go, and all the other dependencies for you. And after installation, it would look something like this. So already better, right? If I go into some project folder, like I have a TypeScript project here with React and all, so you can see I have like coloring or LSP stuff like VS Code gives. So let me just show you how. See, it is already giving me even GitHub Copilot. Many of you may be already using Copilot in VS Code. So that is also here in NeoVim. So you are not going to be missing out anything. And for The other factors like touching your mouse and thing, those are the key bindings that we are going to be showing you later on. Like the whole workflow in VS Code and NeoVim differs in one extent. Like in VS Code, you have to constantly look for your mouse to navigate to, oh, I need to change this line, or oh, I need to just remove this thing. So in Vim, you do it whole by your hand only, nothing, just nothing using the mouse. So let's go into some of the theory part. And the Vim philosophy, let me just tell you, the Vim philosophy is more like a painting on a canvas. So if you are, think about it, if you are painting, you are not always resting with your paintbrush on the canvas, right? When you are resting or you are thinking about your code, you are keeping your pencil or your paintbrush down and then looking at your code. So modal editing means just that. When you are not actively changing your code, you are just navigating or just casually browsing through your code. We are going to be seeing this in motion, so you don't have to confuse yourself over this. But uh, Ushajode, am I audible?
Yeah, sure. You're perfectly
Yeah,
audible.
yeah, yeah.
Could you hear
So
me?
then, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I can hear you. So sorry for that.
So I do have like a VM setup. So if you want them to like show how to
Oh,
install
so
the
you want
things,
to install it live, right?
yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, yeah. So I would hand over to you after some of, like, after showing them
Yeah, yeah,
how
sure,
to,
sure, sure.
yeah, you then you can install it. So my presentation is visible, right? Vim philosophy, model editing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So operations and motions, like whatever you do in Vim consists of a grammar. Like you have a motion and you have an operator. So motion means you are just navigating through text, like go two words above, go two words down, or go delete something. So going towards is a motion and deleting something is an operation. We are going to be showing this in a very practical manner, so you don't have to like, oh, this is something like nerds do. No, this is nothing like that. I'm just giving you a brief overview of what is actually we are going to be doing. And we have three uh, modes in our editor. So modal means we have modes. So basically, mode means that in VS Code we are always in the insert mode, right? Whenever we type something, it reflects on our screen. So with modal editor, we have more than one mode. So insert mode is there when you are regularly typing in your keyboard and showing things are showing up on your monitor. But normal mode there is where you can actually compose these motions and operations to edit your text, like what I was telling you earlier. Delete a word, delete two sentences, delete a word that is above you, some things like that. Or visual mode, something you may actually relate to, like selecting something, that's visual mode, but a bit different. We are going to be going into that a bit later. And now we are going into the surviving in Vim. So basically, when you are like when you open Vim, you may thinking what is happening. I am typing things, but the things are randomly jungling up. So with HJKL, these are your navigation bindings. So I think many of you have played GTA or NS, like the game Need for Speed. So with those you always like use WASD, right, or the arrow keys. HJKL in the home row is actually your arrow keys for navigating in Vim. So you can use HJKL to navigate inside Vim. And I gets you into insertion mode and WQ uh, gets you out. So these are basically surviving in Vim, but advanced motions and all I'm going to be showing you using Vim tutor. So after you have installed it, Oishojada will be showing you how to install it like live if you guys have some problem doing it. So Oishojada will show you. But right now I have LunarVim and NeoVim installed in my PC. So what I can do right now is go into LunarVim and type out tutor. So this is the like tutorial or the quick play or quick start guide, if you will. So in every game you have a quick start, right? Like how to navigate or how to fire a gun, things like that. In NeoVim there is in LunaVim there is the tutor, and I encourage all of you after this session you go into the NeoVim tutor and just work it out. But for now I'm going to be showing some of these exercises so that you know what we are doing here. So for the lessons here, what we can do right now is J, K, L, and H. These are the navigation keys, remember. So what we are gonna be doing is going down and fixing up these problems. Like if you read here, this tutorial is interactive. So there are some exercises with process here. That means we have to fix them. And if once we have fixed them, there is the right sign. So we have successfully fixed them. So let me just do one and show you. By the way, I'm typing Control D, and whatever I am typing, you can see it in my screen. The, the the key codes that I am already typing. So with HJKL, I have already told you you can go one character above, one character down, one character left, one character right. And other than that, we can now go into exiting and we are reopening. So one of the memes or the things that you are going to be saying after this session, I know, is we finally learned how to exit them. So first of all, the first thing you should learn is how to exit NeoVim. So what you need to do is shift colon, that gets you into command mode, and then Q. It exits you from NeoVim. And sometimes is gonna be an error. So to be safe, we are gonna be giving an exclamation mark, and it will just leave and go into the terminal. So you don't have to always restart your computer once you start up Vim. So we are already there, and let's run into some other problems. So uh, this thing here, lesson 1.3 says deletion. So the X key is used to delete one character under your cursor. So what we can do here is, like, I type J to get to the line below, then W to get one word next. W means word, and then typed X. So the C that was under my cursor just vanished. So it was deleted. And what I can do now is go E. E means end, and another E, so means an next end. So the word after, and we can type X again. So you see the character under the cursor was already deleted. So you can say that I want to go like within the word, not just the first and the last. So I'm going to be showing you a trick to do that. But right now we can just use H and L. So L goes one character left, right? So we are over V, so we have to delete the V also. So we can delete the V, and then we can delete R. So again E, and then R. We can do this multiple times, LL and then X. Then I have double triple O, then I can do LLL. Then you can see the line is now corrected, and I have a check mark beside. So this is basic editing. Like you can just go and replace your existing text editor with just these basic commands only. And now we have insertion. The next passage says there is something missing from this line. Like the second line is true, and we have to make the first line the same as the second line. So what we can do, I'm gonna be showing you a trick right now. So what remember I was saying W, E, these are motions for this, and X or D, these are commands. So D means delete, X means delete the character like under the text, under the cursor. So what we can do right now, we can repeat motions. Motions are the H, J, K, L, W, E, and we can repeat the motions by prefixing them, like saying 2W. So typing 2W will get me ahead two words. So if I type 2W, see, instead of getting to is, I got to text. I can combine motions with this, and it will help me to go there faster than I should be. Like, instead of typing ww, I could just type 2w. This makes more sense if I was like going to the last final word or this. So instead of typing www, I could have just typed 4w, and I could just get to this. So I think you are getting my point, like why composing and why repeatability is important. So like get I just digressed here. So let's get back to insertion right now. So I can type e, and there is some, I think, if you see the text behind. So a and I are the append like you can append text with a and I for insertion. So I typed the cursor was at s and I tapped a. So I got into the cursor moved after the keyword. So I can type some right here, and the text is all right. Okay, and then the thing is, this missing is wrong. So I can just type L, and you can see I am right in here. So I can type I and put the missing S. Okay, the S is done. I can do L again, and I can do A, and then I can do I again. So I can compose and like get travel from one this line or this character to that character using L, H, J, K, L, and use commands like X and D, I to insert, delete text under the cursor or append to the cursor. So one thing I think you have noticed that I was doing like without telling you inadvertently was switching between modes. So when I'm in insertion mode, you can say how can I go back to the mode that I was already in, like traveling towards the next word. So what you can do is type escape, and it will go back to the normal mode where you can travel through your text. So this will come as you practice it, so you don't have to worry about this from the first time only. So finishing this, we can just do uh, I said from this, so from this and then line. So this one is done, and here is another tip. You, if you think you need to go half a page down or like scroll down, there is no need to reach for your cursor. You can just do Control D. So doing Control D will get you to the next half of the page. So I am doing Control D, and see the page just scrolled without me just looking for the mouse. So instead of doing all the things, I'm going to be doing some of them. So this is appending, like I told you, insertion and appending at the same time. So we can do this similarly, like uh, missing. Okay, so I made a mistake. See here, if I want to go back, I can just do B. Like W goes forward, B goes backward. So these are all motion. So I got B, B. And to delete things, I can just do X, 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 X. If you want to do that, it's your wish, you can do that. Or we can do motions from there. Like I want to delete 5 characters under my cursor. So I can do 5, then X. Then you can see one word got deleted. But I think you are gonna be thinking, oh, why do we need to like repeat all of this from, like, isn't there something much more easier? Yeah, there is, and we can do capital D. So remember, capital D means delete what everything is here to the end of the line. So you can just do capital D and everything would be deleted from the end of the line. And another pro tip, if you think you have done any mistake, you can just do U, and the last change you made would be undone. So I think these are the shortcuts that you need, just the bare minimum, so that you can just easily go through Vim and your journey. So right now, what we can do is delete the whole thing, capital D, and then from A we can do here. So this thing is done and editing a file. So this portion is saying how you can open and edit a file. So let me just open a new terminal, and from here we can just do. You are guys are going to be using Luna Vim. So lvim, then the file name. So maybe the file name is todo.txt. So you open that and it will be showing you all of these like cursors, all of these, like txt is a human readable format, so it is saying human. It was, if it was a javascript or dart file, it would be showing javascript or dart. So you can just insert things like this is a new file, or this is a NeoVim tutorial, things like that. So, and for saving and exiting, you can do colon w. W means write. If I just do colon w, see, it will just write the text. So the file will be created and vim will stay where it is. It won't just close off. So if we compose it, w and q, q means quit. So write and quit. So basically what NeoVim would do is write the text to the file and then quit. So it would do whatever you would ask it. There is nothing more or nothing less. So this is it. And for I'm gonna be showing you some more commands in a short way. I think you guys are getting it right. Type in the chat if you are getting it, or if this is too much for you. Okay. I am not going to be going too deep into this, but I think I just made some points, like what are motions, what are keycaps, and what are like the commands you can use to compose your motions. And most of these are the same things, hitting line. So you can use Vim and this Vim tutor to learn this thing, everything. And what I would suggest you is go through the Vim tutor once on your own, and then learn Vim incrementally, like what each of these things do, what each of the commands do, what each of these motions do. And I think I'm gonna show you one more, like using a count to delete. And this hits home that point that I was saying, like if you want to delete two words from here, but you don't want to do dw, like delete word, everything has a intuition to it. So dw will delete one word to it. So you think you'd want to delete two words here, right? A, B, C, and D, E. So what you are gonna do is d two words, d2w. So d2w will delete two words from here, and then you type w. W is the motion. So you go to the next one and see, here are four words you want to delete. And the whole point of Vim is using these keyboard shortcuts to do it in one strike. So in one strike you can say delete four words, or d4w. So the line of words, the thing got sorted out. And what we can do more, I'm gonna show you another key binding right here. F goes to the uh, first instance of the character you type next. So maybe I was at word. So if I want to go to Q, I would just type F capital Q, and I would magically just, my cursor would go there. So this is the whole point of them. You have to use motions and commands, and you can just go everywhere you like, anywhere or everywhere. So like doing this thing, we can just delete three words. I think most of you get it what I am trying to say. And the last thing is I would like to tell you how to work on lines. So copying and pasting, like if you want to copy, so copy is like yank in Vim. So y, the command name is y. So y, if you type y twice, it will just copy the whole line. And p is for paste. I think that's pretty intuitive, p. So you can do like y is the motion still, right? So you can do y and l, and it will copy the two characters between beneath the cursor. So if you just type p, so it will just paste the character that was copied into the register. And for this, I think you are going to be using y only. So yank the whole line, and p for paste. So this is the thing. And for d, the same thing. D, capital D twice, and it would delete the line under the cursor. So these are the things, like if even if you don't know what you are doing, you want some help or something, Stack Overflow is there, or there are online Vim helps. But the best help you can get is from the Vim documentation only. Like if you want to know about something, like what does you do, U, small u. So you can do colon HELP, then small u. It would show you, like U is for undo. It can undo changes, undo one change, or undo then U, then N. It would change, undo last N changes. Or if I wanna go help D, so it would show me the help for this. So I think this was the bare minimum for you getting into Vim and knowing that Vim can actually replace or substitute VS Code or any editor that you might be using. And the real perks of using Vim or Lunar Vim for that matter is you get LSP and things pre-built. So if I open a like mm, Dart file over here, so you can see I didn't have to do anything much. It installed most of the things automatically, and it is showing me everything, like the LSPs and the auto completion stuff. I don't have to mostly manually set it up, like everything I need to do. Some things you are gonna have to set up. Uh, for those, there is a thing like Microsoft VS Code Marketplace. You can use Mason. So colon MASON, you are gonna get everything, like language servers. You are using HTML, you have HTML. You have CSS, you do C or C++ language compiling, you can use C language. So everything you see here is already supported in Vim. So there is nothing to know about. There is nothing to hesitate. You can just like use it yourself and just figure things out. There is no problem in exploring things for yourself. For now, I think it's enough for you guys, and I'm gonna be sharing this presentation with you. So whatever I told you is matching up with what you have from here. And for now, I'm gonna ask Oishwarjoda to share his screen and show how to install and use LunaVim and NeoVim. Thank you.
Uh, okay, thank you, Ananya, for giving them such a good introduction and head start towards development with Vim. Uh, I'll share my screen and minus share screen. Just let me know when my screen is visible.
Yeah,
It's
your
visible,
screen is
right?
visible. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so I would also like you to kind of guide me. I'll portray as someone who is new to Linux and using like the installing NeoVim for the first time. I'll pretend to be that, and I would also like you to guide me on the process. So this is currently my distribution, and I'll switch to a instance of Ubuntu virtual machine, which I have set up for this purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is currently the Ubuntu virtual machine, and this is a very vanilla Ubuntu setup. Anyone will be seeing after they have installed Ubuntu, or they are using a virtual machine to install Ubuntu. Okay, so I'll open my terminal. That's ctrl alt t, and yeah. So could you let me know the commands for installation of NeoVim?
For NeoVim, for I think you are using Ubuntu, right? So you can just do apt install sudo apt install NeoVim, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, sure. I'll try
It
that.
totally depends on your distribution or your hardware. So I think if you are using Mac OS, you are gonna have to choose the Debian to choose the like the packages, app images in there.
Yeah. So as you can see, NeoVim has been found, and we should be able to install it. So this is for the Ubuntu. For my personal experience, uh, in case of other Arch-based distributions, you have to type in NVim for starting the NeoVim. Couple of seconds, and yeah, this should be done. So I'll kind of enlarge it, and NVim. This should start NVim. Okay. So this has started in NVim, and as you can see, currently we have like a no-named file. I'll just quickly exit from this and create a new file. Touch, txt, and open this. So another thing regarding Vim is that it is the default editor for anything. That is any kind of DevOps thing you all are doing, or that may be some sort of server management. You are going into some sort of Docker container to do some changes or debug stuff. So there is one editor which is called VI, that's always present. So VI was like the precursor of Vim, uh, and it was the original thing that was developed. Then VI was improved upon and named Vim, which stands for VI improved. So after Vim, we have a major refactored fork of Vim, which is called NeoVim, and then we have various distributions of NeoVim. Uh, so, for instance, in any Linux distro, without installing anything or any kind of Linux environment, that even might be your Android mobile's Linux thing that's down in the layers. You will always find an editing tool called VI. So currently, my like VI is configured to use NeoVim. So it kind of looks into and finds the latest version of Vim or Vim compatible editor you have installed, and opens it up. So this is what your default kind of NeoVim looks like. And for like instance, you could just set numbers that would start off numbering. You could press I to go into insert mode, type some text up like this is line 1 maybe, and this is line 2, and then you could just use dd to delete the lines. You could delete till one character, or you could delete a single line. So those things, I think Ononio has gone through. And now coming to the installation of a Vim distribution, because from what you can see here is that in a very default like uh, behavior of Vim, you don't get much information, and it looks kind of plain and not so interesting. For instance, it's does not look as cool as any of the current things that you are using. That might be VS Code, for instance. So you could manually customize the things. I'll just let you have a glimpse of my setup. You already had a glimpse of what Ononio had on his setup. So that kind of looks dope from my perspective. And if I go there, we also have my setup too. I'll open my configurations. Yeah. So this is kind of my setup. So as opposed to distributions, what you can do is you can customize the whole thing from top to bottom, from each of the colors to each of the characters that displayed on the screen, and what kind of text you want, how many windows do you want, whatever you want, in what place. Everything is customizable, comparable from the minute pixel level details. And for that there are also package managers, like you get package managers for Ubuntu, which is like apt, and you have pacman package manager for arch based. You have the pkg package manager for debian based distributions and things. So similarly you also get package managers for managing plugins. So one of the package managers I am using is called the Vim plug. So that has to be installed from previously. That makes managing custom packages on Vim and using new plugins very easy. Similarly, as you have the extension in case of VS Code, you have a way to install plugins in Neo Vim. And plugins, I tell you, is that there are a lot of plugins that can enable you to have very simple things to very complex things. You could have a tree like setup here that is from NVim tree plugin. You could have themes plugins, and again you can write your own custom plugins. That's also an option. You can either use the Lua script, which is a language, or the Vim script, which is a Vim specific language, to develop your own plugins. You can, and most of these plugins are already open source, so you can already modify and customize them to your needs. So this is kind of my small setup. Uh, I'll just close it for now. And now I'll go to Anandabroto and ask him the instructions for installing Lunar Vim distribution. So what Lunar Vim does is that it instantaneously makes your Vim kind of look a lot cooler. I'll open up Firefox and let's search for Lunar Vim.
Okay, Vishal Jodha, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So one problem I already saw with Ubuntu was that it was installing, I think, NeoVim version 0.6.
0 point. Let me just check.
So nothing, but I think LunaVim right now is already on the NeoVim 0.8 branch. So there might be some like breaking changes to it. So I won't guarantee it would work on your setup right now.
Zero
But
point 0.6. Okay, okay.
yeah, but I think you should maybe
Well, we
try.
could always try it. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
could
yeah.
try it.
So like
So, yeah,
I have given the command in the YouTube chat, or you can just yeah go to the LunaVim website and copy it from there.
sure. It's pretty easy. Yes, I'll just click on install. Yeah, I think there is the latest version. Eight. What was my version? One sec. Hmm. Okay, let's see if we can install. Uh, let archives, countries, books, hmm, books, taken, install, station. Yeah, I think Flatpak might have the latest version. Would that work for Lunar Vim?
Yeah, yeah, any version that is uh, like up to date, we
We
can
could,
use
yeah,
it.
we could just use
We can use
Snap.
Snap or
Yeah,
Flatpak,
Snap
both is
is,
fine.
yeah, it's Ubuntu specific. Mm,
So I'm gonna argue right here. So I think Arch is better in this regard. You are always getting the bleeding edge software that would
yeah, it's
always
a rolling release,
have
right?
everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
of
So
course.
like for the desktop users like you and me, I think Arch is better than something more stable like Debian or Ubuntu.
Yeah, I was not aware of this particular issue. I mean, we used Ubuntu for a long time. If I just check on my system, version, yeah, it's 8.2. It's like this. Yeah, okay. Stable bits, classic. Okay, so just to point out, Snap is like a no dependency thing. It installs an app image of the particular app. So it does not have any kind of dependencies. You don't have to install any dependencies. Everything is packaged together. So it is one of the benefits of having an app image. You would have one app image and that would work on any sort of Linux distribution. And Flatpak from previous and Snap. Those are like stable install version. This one works, right? This is the latest. Go here. Linux.
Yeah, I think the this one is actually up to date. So yeah, we can just install LunaVim right now.
Yeah, let's start. Launch, release, card. I don't need sudo, right? Oh, crap.
So I think curl is not installed in Ubuntu, right? Vanilla Ubuntu.
Yeah, nothing is installed.
Okay, so if you guys hop on get stumble into this problem, you can just install curl, like sudo apt install curl, and your script would work.
Also, Git was not installed.
I think you should install base
Okay,
code.
yeah. I need this. So that means make Python and PM node cargo, all of this. Python and pip must be installed, npm node and cargo. npm and cargo. I think sudo
So if we were using an Arch-based distribution right now, we could have just installed base Devel. I think that
cargo.
package contains curl and everything there.
Yeah. This might take a while. Meanwhile, you guys, if you have any kind of questions, any questions regarding to Linux, also are welcome. You could just start asking on the chat box.
Okay, let me just ask, how many of you are actually interested in running NeoVim? Just to explore, not you don't have to daily drive it just yet. Just to explore. Like how many of you are gonna install and run tutor on it? Okay, I got one. Only one.
Well, you could also have NeoVim installed on Windows, so it's not like it's a Ubuntu thing and you don't use Ubuntu, or it's a Linux thing you don't use Linux. And the better, the earlier, the better, because anyway, uh, most of us are going to have placements in IT industry, right? And you have to know basic text editing in the command line because servers will not have GUI, and even as developers, you would have to communicate and operate on servers.
Okay, so I think Kajal is asking, is it better than VS Code and in what aspect? So, uh, in honestly speaking, it all boils down to preference. Like you can use VS Code if you want to, you can use Vim if you want to, but being a Vimmer, I can tell you, using Vim reduces your friction between your thought and your writing. So you can just write what you are actually thinking about without like breaking your flow, without reaching your mouse, using to your mouse, selecting text, being precise on what you are doing. So your hands are already on your keyboard, and Vim makes sure that they will be on your keyboard. You don't have to go here and there asking for the mouse or wireless mouse and things like that. So in that aspect, Vim can actually save you much time or frustration and make your coding much easier.
Yeah. So Vim is more of like an experience. So what VS Code does is that it's just so easy to set up. You just roll along with VS Code. But once you have Vim running and get past the first impression cycle, which is kind of steep, it has a kind of steep learning curve. But once you get through that, node dependencies, NeoVim, visitor, I would do yes, right?
Yeah, it is gonna ask you for the dependency. You should type it, but this is gonna take some time.
No, I don't think so. Should be skipping it.
For nano, I think someone is asking, is nano enough? Anything is enough if you know how to run it. So nano is also like a terminal editor, and if you are logging into a server and you don't know Vim, I think if there is nano, you can use it. There is no problem. But
Yeah,
one
see,
thing,
I would just mention this. Working with Docker images, in many of scenarios, I have to work with really constrained sizes. So
yeah,
if you are just building your image upon something like Ubuntu or Debian serverless editions, server editions, it's okay. You'll get Nano probably. But if you are working with very tight constraints, you have to build your images upon more lightweight things like Alpine Linux, and those things I tell you will not have Nano or any other text editor installed. They would only have one, and that is the vi or Vim. Then again, you don't want to go inside a package and do apt install things inside a Docker container which is running. It's always better to just use vi, and that's also an safety concern because Docker containers are supposed to be purpose specific, and they should not be used to download things that you are going to use for just once or twice, like other editors or other kind of components. EcoCat said, yeah. Okay, we get that. Yeah, it's from a, I guess, a command line fan, and yeah, yeah. Also AWK awk. You forgot mentioning awk.
for those who are still skeptical in third year, you are gonna have to learn Vim. So I think there is no two ways around it. You have to run or you have to learn at least Vim, the basic commands at least. I think in fifth sem, right? With it,
Yeah, you have any idea regarding this unknown flag thing?
Experiment tracker. Just try learning Elvim. Let's see what gets. Uh,
What will I try?
Elvim, Elvim. Let's see what happens.
Oh, and LVIM.
Okay, I think the make directory is not there. So just try to run home Ubuntu dot local share Lunavim then Elvim. The whole path there. You
Okay,
see slash home slash Ubuntu dot local dot share. This one.
slash. Just a second.
No, no. There is the path above the command. You see.
Oh, okay. Uh, you can start. Okay, this one. See.
Yeah, this one. I think there is some problems with the permissions and all. We can sort it out later. But let's run it.
Yeah, it's stone.
So I think the problem with the version is all already there.
Yeah.
The version problem.
It should just fix like a couple of commands have to run.
So guys, I'm gonna give you a heads up. If you are using Ubuntu and things like that, Debian and things like that, you are gonna run into problems like this, like missing dependencies or like this one, like npm global or things like that. I would say if you want to have like a usable system, a rolling release with the most active software development, use Arch-based distros like Endeavor or even Manjaro. You're gonna get a better experience, I think. And a disclaimer is that if you are using Linux, you're gonna have to do some debugging on your own, like Ushojada is doing here. I think he is using npm global, like specifying a global directory for npm to install packages, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, so it's not about just mindlessly using NeoVim or things like that. It's all about using Linux as whole. So I think it's more of a journey, more of an experience. So,
Let's
but
stop this
yes,
again.
you can. I think using Arch-based distros will help you avoid most of these problems.
Yeah, so what happens is that Lunar Vim is like an active development, and there were lot of changes for Neo Vim 0.8. A lot of changes like the integration of LSP directly supporting of LSP inside Vim, and a lot of other changes. And as you could see that this current version of Ubuntu still has is running an older version of Vim. So that said, it might have some issues. Rest apart, it should start. Uh, you could have mentioned that I would have prepared a VM for Arch Linux.
I didn't know Ubuntu would have
Yeah, yeah, it has
just
been a while since we have been
backdated the
using. Yeah,
packages.
yeah, yeah.
It's fine. I think what you are experiencing right now should be fixed in modern versions of Ubuntu. Are you using the modern version of Ubuntu, like
Yeah,
the latest one?
let's check my disk.
There might be a problem with the repositories also, I think.
Mm,
So maybe we are running into some issues that we should not be
this is
having.
my current version. Yeah, 22.4. Did they release something 23? I don't think so. This should work. I think it has the same issue.
Okay,
Mm, I'll try rebooting once.
do you have? You are using an Arch-based distro, right?
What? What?
You are using an Arch-based distro, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You can just install it, I think, in your home.
We can try it in a
Home.
Docker container. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's another option. Yeah, this is not gonna work.
Okay, for now, I think,
Yeah,
yeah, I think they know how to install it, but
yeah.
let them like try it once again for their own
Mhm.
setup. If there is any problem, we can always solve them. Like you can hit us up in our like group, the LUG group we have, and you can just mention or tag us that I have this problem. This is not installing. If you are getting this problem, that is, and we can solve this for you. But for now, I think Oishadada is having some dependency problems, and his version of NeoVim is collapsing with the Vim one.
Just a while. I'll try this thing and Maybe it will work. I do have Docker installed. And
Okay, so that is a smart move. We are installing Docker container, right? There is
yeah,
no
yeah, they
issue.
have provided a Docker container. This is also like a very, very quick, fast way to set up. Yeah.
Okay, so we developers are jugadu, right? Something is not working, we find another way around it.
So this is something you guys can also try if you have Docker setup. So this is pertaining to like in Windows also. If you are, I mean, if you are developing something, it is very absolutely certain that most of you will have Docker setup. So you could just like try out from a Docker container, and it's a simple command, just copy pasting from this simple command will prompt it. Where am I? Mostly done. Sometimes Git can have awful speeds, right?
I think while it is downloading, we can show them a like YouTube channel. Can you open your browser?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, yeah. So there is a great YouTube channel from TJ DeVries, like the core maintainer of NeoVim. So he teaches how to install or how to use
Yeah.
NeoVim, and there are some really cool sessions with
Could you
like
let me know the channel name?
yeah, yeah. You can just type NeoVim TJ DeVries, NeoVim
E- EJ.
TJ DeVries.
This thing, right?
T for
Oh,
Tom,
oh, just
J
you
for
can write it
Jacob.
in the private chat. This should come up now.
I have written
Sure. TJ. Okay, that's a TJ. Yeah. Yeah.
it. So he's one of the core maintainers of NeoVim, and he every week he shares some insightful thoughts on how to customize NeoVim, how to set up LSP. So you can follow his channel for like getting to know how to hack and how to use these things. There are many resources available online, so there would not be a problem if you are willing to learn.
Yeah. Sure. Also, I guess DT has some. There's this kind of quick start video on DT. View.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I think we are past our time. Oichitsu, can you please share the feedback form or the mark form for
Yeah.
today's
Yeah.
session?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody
Go
in
ahead
the
and kind
chat,
of.
we are gonna be live for the feedback form will be live for 5 minutes. So the prompt and fill up the details as fast as you can. It will lock up as soon as wait 5 minutes more.
I think Lunar Vim is using Packard to install all the dependencies. No, that's gonna take a long time. Meanwhile, Ononyo, could you just share your Lunar Vim kind of thing? Welcome screen.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's downloading. So what I can do is,
Yeah, you can share your version.
yeah, yeah. So let me know once you can
Maybe run it with a separate account or yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it's done. Yeah, my mine is up.
uh, can you check first? Is your up?
Let me check. Yeah. No, no, no. It's still yeah. Downloading tree
So
setup.
while Oshadras is downloading, I think it's pretty straightforward. You can just use LVIM and it will just up. And the things that I showed you could be just accessed with Follow Tutor, and you can just follow this along to like learn more of the NeoVim or the stuff that you need to basically switch over from VS Code or Atom or anything that you're using. So while Oishoda's Docker container is working, I don't know if it's
Yeah,
taking some
it's
time
done.
for
It's done.
network.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we are gonna be ending the live stream soon. So before we end, I am gonna ask you to like if you don't know touch typing right now, it's like typing without looking at over to your keyboard. So you can there are multiple websites available online. You can learn how to touch type there. So one of them is keyboard.com, and it actually shows you how you can like increase your speed while looking over to your monitor only. Like you don't have to look over to your keyboard also. So touch typing coupled with NeoVim gives you a fluid experience, like you are the 10x developer that I promised you would be once you attend this session. So just attending this session won't make you the 10x developer, but if you do this like the keyboard.com, the practices and all, and work on your NeoVim skills, I think you are gonna be a much better developer, or your confidence would boost after like a couple of months. So I think that's something you should invest yourself. And yeah, that's mostly it. And for
And I
any
think we
other,
can just yeah show them the welcome screen. It's done.
yeah, it's done for you. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so this is not as flashy. Depending upon desktop, your terminal theme, it will kind of yeah, but this is kind of installed, and you can start with a new file. You can yeah close the file, stuff. So this is one way of yeah doing the things. And now I'll just clean up my dock. So as you can see, as much as your Linux desktop can be customized, uh, NeoVim can also be customized. Okay, over to Ananya.
Yeah, yeah. So it was it for today's session, guys. How was the session? You can just type out in the chat and let us know. and fill up the form. That's the one that Oichijo has given in the chat. Uh, that is gonna be your link for the certificate that we are gonna be sharing it with you. And I think we are done here. Yeah. So good night, guys. See you in the next year.
Yeah, and
Next
yeah,
session.
have a rocking weekend.
Yeah.
You can just, yeah, turn off the live stream now, moderator.